Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas of Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Monday, September 14th, 2020. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. And as our usual reminder, we like to invite any advertisers or sponsors that are interested in sponsoring one of our segments or advertising on one of our segments. Of course, Florida National News has 5 shows to choose from. So if you are interested, just be sure to drop us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com to find out more information. And as always, we like to get you guys started with the latest world reports in terms of COVID-19, and of course here globally here in the United States and in the state of Florida. So jumping over to the world report, courtesy of the World Health Organization, they're reporting over 28.9 million cases of COVID-19 and over 922,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the United States, Johns Hopkins University is reporting over 6.53 million cases and over 194,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the state of Florida, the Department of Health is reporting over 665,000 cases and over 12,700 confirmed deaths. Now jumping into our world story, speaking of the World Health Organization, they're reporting record highs in terms of new COVID-19 cases, just internationally speaking. Now, the World Health Organization reported, a one-day rise, and this is over the weekend, of course, of new COVID-19 infections, with 307,930 cases reported over 24 hours. This was from Saturday into Sunday. The agency said that deaths rose by more than 5,500, bringing the global total at the time to 917,417. Now, according to the World Health Organization, the biggest increases in infections were reported in India, the US, and Brazil. And of course, India, US, and Brazil have been the top 3 over this past week. So coming into this week, they still remain in the top in terms of cases and deaths. Now, worldwide, there have been more than 28 million confirmed cases, half of which have been in the Americas. The previous one-day record for new cases was on September 6th, when the World Health Organization reported 306,857 new infections. So far, as of Sunday, India reported 94,372 new cases, followed by us here in the US with 45,500 plus, and Brazil follows in third with over 43,700 cases. India has the second largest number of confirmed cases in the world behind the United States. And they saw an average of 64,000 cases per day, which is an 84% hike from the average daily cases that they saw back in July, according to official data. The death toll there has topped 1,000 every day since the beginning of September in the nation of India. Now, countries in Europe are reporting a rising number of daily cases amid fears of a resurgence of the virus. You guys have been hearing us report this for you. Now, there have been renewed appeals for people to wear their face coverings and follow social distancing rules there in Europe. Other countries that have seen a recent resurgence include Peru, Israel, South Korea, and Australia. Now, Israel, in the meanwhile, is going to impose a new nationwide lockdown as COVID-19 cases there continue to rise. So we'll continue to keep you posted where that's concerned, because that's very, very important. Now, jumping here to the United States, speaking of an increase or a growth of COVID-19 cases, we're starting to see a growth in cases in 11 states here in the US as well. So in keeping you guys posted with that, according to Dr. Anthony Fauci, he mentioned that cases continue to grow over the weekend in nearly a dozen US states. And of course, he's continuing to caution everyone to take the CDC guidelines very seriously. COVID-19 cases have grown by 5% or more based on a weekly average, of course, to smooth out daily reporting in those 11 cases in 11 states. Those states include Alaska, Arkansas, Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Now, Wisconsin hit a record high in its average of daily new cases, reporting over 1,300 new infections, a roughly 32% increase from a week ago, according to Johns Hopkins. Kansas and Montana both hit record highs for new deaths. Now, the new data comes out 2 days after Dr. Fauci mentioned that the current data for the U.S. COVID-19 outbreak has been disturbing, of course, kind of disagreeing with President Donald Trump, who said the U.S. outbreak was turning a corner. Now, while cases have been growing in those 11 states, the overall daily average of new cases in the US is slowly starting to decline. Over the past week, the country has reported an average of about 34,300 new cases per day, which is a 15% decrease compared to a week ago. And of course, that's also lower than the roughly 70,000 new cases a day that the US was reporting a few months ago. Now, health officials have repeatedly warned that they are preparing to battle two bad viruses circulating later this year as a COVID-19 outbreak coincides with flu season. So, ladies and gentlemen, continue to be careful. Health officials say the US is unlikely to return to quote unquote normal until there is a safe and effective vaccine. And according to what we heard from Dr. Fauci heading into the weekend, he's predicting that the US isn't going to see anything near normal until late 2021, after much of the population has had time and access to a COVID-19 vaccine. Now, in a slight flip of news as it relates to COVID-19, here in the state of Florida, Florida is seeing the lowest number of COVID-19 deaths that it has seen in months, reporting only 8 over the weekend. And the majority of those 8 COVID-19 deaths were actually in Marion County, to be specific. Now, the Florida Department of Health said on Sunday that, those 8 people had died from COVID-19, which brings the state's total death toll to 12,764. Now, officials also reported 2,423 new cases over the weekend, which is a slight drop from the 3,190 that was reported the day before on Saturday. And as I mentioned with Marion County, 6 out of the 8 deaths that were reported came from Marion County. No new deaths were reported in any other Central Florida counties. So that's good news for Central Florida. Now, to date, the number of negative tests recorded by state health officials totals 4.25 plus million, which is an increase of 19,000 plus since Saturday. So more and more people are beginning to test negative. So that is also good news. We'll continue to keep you posted on all things COVID-19 because safety first, and we care about you guys' health, all right? Stay tuned, guys. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with some more stories for you. We'll be right back.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, guys, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. And in more U.S. news, you guys have likely heard over the weekend, the Gulf Coast is preparing for its second hurricane in the month in a row. Hurricane Sally is now in the Gulf Coast. Pretty much, it has been named a hurricane now. It was a tropical storm over the weekend. But of course, as you guys know, in the Gulf Coast, we're talking Mississippi, New Orleans, that southern part of Louisiana, Alabama, and the Panhandle here in Florida. So continue to be careful for those who are in that area. And of course, there is a storm surge now that is of note that was reported today, particularly as you see the coverage here by ABC. So folks in that area are beginning to feel the effects of that. It has disrupted the oil industry on those coastlines so far. So we'll continue to keep you guys posted on that. Everyone continue to stay safe, please. According to the National Hurricane Center, the storm, as I mentioned, the storm track was disrupting the oil production in the Gulf of Mexico. And again, the second time in less than a month. Now, obviously, this is not the only tropical storm system or weather disruption that is taking place in the Gulf area, or I should say, in the Caribbean waters, in these areas. Of course, you guys know we are in hurricane season. And hurricane season is starting to wind down a little bit. Hurricane season typically runs from June to about November. So things are kicking up in earnest. The next one that you guys have likely heard about, particularly if you have family members in the Caribbean, is Hurricane Paulette, which has hammered Bermuda. So take a look at this particular clip that has some analysis of Hurricane Paulette.
5 tropical storms right now, 5 plus, the most we've seen in nearly 50 years, and one of them, Paulette. That hurricane made its way over Bermuda. This satellite image is just frightening. I mean, to be able to zoom in this morning and see the island of Bermuda through the eye of the hurricane, that's not great news. Once they get communication, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of the images of the impacts there. Good news, though, is that Paulette turns away from land. land. So aside from some, higher surf along the East Coast, you will not see that.
And that does it for that particular bit of coverage. Jumping here to the state of Florida. As you guys know, we've been reporting for you the latest updates in terms of felons having their voting rights restored. But in a recent reversal on Friday, the ruling is that anyone who is a felon that is looking to have their voting rights restored must pay back all fees and restitution. So obviously this is a bit of disappointing news for a lot of voting rights advocates, civil rights groups, and things like that that have been fighting for felons to have their voting rights restored. And of course, this was a ruling from a federal appeals court. The appeals court has ruled that felons must pay all those fines back. The judge said that this does not amount to a polling tax, even though that was the previous ruling, which was in favor of the voting rights activists. They said was unconstitutional and a bit unfair for felons to have to pay those fees back, because usually when they're coming out of prison, they likely do not have the financial means to pay those fees back. We'll continue to keep you guys posted as it relates to that. We had already given you guys the update that they would not have that opportunity in time for the 2020 election, which all eyes are still on the 2020 election. But we'll continue to keep you guys updated. In the meantime, we're going to take another quick commercial break. We're going to be back with your business and sports stories. Stay tuned.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin clean.
The kid does have a point.
My hand is clean. Yeah.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
All right, welcome back, and jumping into the business story. In an update, TikTok has decided to partner with Oracle Inc., which is a U.S. software company here, of course. They decided not to do an outright sell, though. ByteDance decided to not do an outright sell. They instead wanted to do a partnership. So they've decided to come to that particular deal with Oracle. A bit of update for you guys. And of course, this was an official announcement. Quote, ByteDance let us know today that they would not be selling TikTok's U.S. operations to Microsoft. Microsoft said that in a blog post. We're confident our proposal would have been good for TikTok's users while protecting national security interests. Yep, so they chose to go with Oracle instead of Microsoft. And the other important update of note is that ByteDance was saying that they would not sell the algorithm either, sell access to TikTok's algorithms, because that was, of course, a main point of contention with US lawmakers and, of course, President Trump, because the big concern was information and data collection for China as it relates to US users. But ByteDance said they would not be selling access to that algorithm. They would not be selling the algorithm. But the deal continues to be on the table. The deal is not finalized. So we'll continue to keep you posted on that as well, because there are still millions of TikTok users out there. And of course, tomorrow is the official deadline imposed by President Trump for TikTok to sell its US interests. So we'll continue to see how that goes. All right, guys, now for your sports story, this is a bit of a touching one. Paul Gasol, who was a former teammate of the late Kobe Bryant, has decided to honor his newborn daughter by naming her after Gianna Bryant, of course, who was on the helicopter with Kobe Bryant when the helicopter crashed. He has named his baby girl Gianna as the middle name. And of course, Vanessa Bryant is the godmother, so she was super excited about the birth of her goddaughter. She took to social media to post about that. Gasol's wife said, or I should say, Elizabeth Gianna Gasol is the young girl's name. I should say that. In a post, it said, "Our little one has finally arrived. The delivery went very well, and we couldn't be happier. Elizabeth Gianna Gasol, a beautiful, meaningful name for our super beautiful daughter. Hashtag girl dad." This was Gasol's post online in the announcement of his new baby girl. So congrats, to him and his wife, Catherine O'Donnell. And of course, as I mentioned, Vanessa Bryant is the godmother, so she was super excited. My goddaughter is here. Congratulations. Love you three so much. So touched by your request to honor my Gigi. Can't wait to hold Elizabeth Gianna Gasol. So congrats to the Bryant family for this very touching honor from the former teammate. And of course, congratulations to the Gasol family for the birth of their healthy baby girl. In the meantime, we're going to take one final commercial break, guys. We're going to come back with your entertainment story. So stay tuned. It should be very interesting. It concerns a former candidate for governor. So stay tuned.
One of the things I love about Bass Pro is they have 3 great ways to shop. You can head into one of their awesome stores, visit BassPro.com, or get great gear from that catalog Johnny Morris sends out. Hi, here's your package. Bass Pro Shops, where commitment, passion, and the great outdoors all come together. Why would you shop anywhere else?
All right, guys, as we wrap up with the entertainment story, former gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum has finally broken his silence since the infamous hotel incident down in Miami. And he, of all places, has gone on with Tamron Hall to share his story. And not just him, but also his wife, Dr. R.J. Gillum, was with him during the interview. And he mentioned that, this was something that took place when he was in a very open and vulnerable spot. But the key bombshell that you've likely seen all over social media and all over the news earlier today during the interview, he had chosen to come out as bisexual. So now he officially has the support of the LGBTQIA plus community after having come out. They are supportive of him in terms of the vulnerability and stigma that comes with that, and want to help support him in continuing to share his story and continue to basically garner more of a conversation, continue the conversation. And Dr. R.J. Gillum, for her part, as his wife during the Tamron Hall interview, she mentioned very clearly, hey, it was all that matters is what he and I have discussed, what he and I have agreed to as husband and wife. So we'll continue to keep you guys posted and updated on that as well. In the meantime, that does it for us here at the Evening News Rundown. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. If you haven't yet, be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. You'll find us at Florida National News on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And again, for those who are interested in advertising with us, just shoot us a quick email at ads@floridanationalnews.com. Now, we thank you guys. Have a great and safe Monday. Continue to stay safe, continue to be careful, and check in on your loved ones, particularly those who are in the southern states in the Gulf that are being affected by the hurricanes. If you have folks out on the West Coast, continue to check on them as well, because the wildfires are still going on out there. And COVID-19 is still here, guys. So continue to wear your mask, practice safe social distancing. And of course, as I always tell you, guard your hands, wash them, glove them, sanitize them, whatever you have to do. But continue to stay safe and take care.